Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Thank you all for joining us today on EP Live. We've got an amazing show for you today, but I also want to start things off with something very cool. We partnered with Marvel Canada to offer one of 3 4K UHD Blu-rays. Got to make sure I got all those names in there right, of the Avengers Infinity War, which is the biggest movie of 2018, as we all know. So we've got a contest going. The best way to find out about it is on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Electric Playground. You got to give us the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie that's impacted you the most and why, and we're going to choose the most creative answers and give away 3 4K Blu-rays. It's open to everybody in Canada, only Canadian residents, and unfortunately not in Quebec, so it's Canada excluding Quebec. Sorry about that. But this rundown is going out to our buddy Daniel Campbell, who says, "My daughter and I are big fans of the show." You know, when you bring your daughter into this, you get me right here, don't you, Daniel? This rundown is all yours. We might be on the verge of seeing a brand new game from the studio that brought us the most played PC game of all time. League of Legends developer Riot Games is currently developing several unannounced new projects. Studio co-founder Mark Merrill revealed the news while speaking with Variety, saying that they've been working on new games for a while now and are taking their time to explore different opportunities and figure out which ideas work best with players. He didn't reveal any specific details about what their unannounced new game or games might be, but we can make a guess. Last week, Merrill asked fans on Twitter if they'd like to see the studio create an MMO, leading to speculation that a League of Legends themed MMO is on the way. Whatever their new game is, it would finally help to put the S in Riot Games. League of Legends is the first and so far only game that they've created. I think this is great news. Riot Games has been able to make tons and tons of money and be one of the biggest names in the games industry for a while now. They have made something unbelievably attractive to many, many millions of players, and I must confess, I've only touched League of Legends like once or something. I didn't stick with it, mostly because I don't play these games that never end kind of thing, you know? But I have mad appreciation for what they have been able to do, and I would like to see some other stuff. I'd like to see the money that they made reinvested into some brand new ideas, not just, you know, making their vast community happy with new additions to League of Legends, which I can't fault them for. They've made a really, really solid game there. So congrats to Riot Games if this is happening, and to all of you developers that have been working and toiling away on these secret surprises. Hopefully we'll find out soon. Activision and Bungie are doing everything they can to win back players and bring newcomers into Destiny 2. Bungie has announced that the Destiny 2 Forsaken expansion will be getting a more expensive Legendary Collection, which bundles the expansion with the base game and the 2 existing DLC packs, Curse of Osiris and Warmind. Forsaken will also come with a character boost, which automatically levels you up to where you need to be in order to jump right into the new content. Basically, Bungie wants to sweeten the deal as much as possible in order to make players jump back in. When Destiny 2 launched last year, it was met with harsh criticism over a lack of new content and complaints about its progression system, something that Bungie has been tweaking ever since. More new changes to the progression system are coming alongside the Forsaken expansion, and it arrives September 4th, so we don't have much time to wait here. Listen, I've been a big fan of what is in Destiny 2. I really enjoyed the campaign, and I enjoyed the multiplayer stuff, but I did hit that saturation point after I got to about the 320 level point. I had seen tons and tons of all of the stuff. I've played through both of their recent expansions. I am looking forward to jumping back in with Forsaken, but yes, the heat is on with Bungie to provide something that is really going to shake up the franchise. And you know, they've crafted such an awesome world, and they're taking good steps in telling stories within this world, but I almost feel like we should be getting, you know, offshoots like Splinter games that give us a little bit more detail, make a third-person action adventure thing with Cade 6 or something like that, just so we can flesh out the experiences. And maybe some of that stuff should be, you know, free DLC or downloadable for community members if they, or access, you know, new gameplay variants after you reach a certain point in the sort of core first-person gameplay. I know it would mix things up, but they've crafted a universe, not just, you know, a first-person game series. And as we saw with Halo, and, you know, Microsoft has smartly worked with other studios. They've created, you know, twin-stick shooters. There's a Halo arcade game. There's the RTS series that is a part of the Halo universe. I think Destiny needs a little bit more of that enrichment as well, you know? And honestly, the vehicles that are included in Destiny have been so cool, but you only really use them to travel. You know, you get into some conflict and stuff on some of these tanks and things, but it would be great to get some kind of space battle part of the Destiny experience. Anyways, I am looking forward to playing Forsaken. The thing that I will say about Destiny 1 and 2 is that it's so fun to play. Like the mechanics are just wonderful, and they got us there. They do just need to flesh out and give us more storytelling and more narrative and more compelling hooks to stay in. But let's hope Forsaken does that. We'll find out on September 4th. And another troubled game might be finally out of rough waters. Microsoft and Rare have announced that their pirate game, Sea of Thieves, has just crossed the 5 million player threshold. That number is across both the Xbox One and PC and represents the total number of people who have played the game. So Rare hasn't said exactly how many players are active. Still, this seems like an impressive turnaround for the game. When it launched earlier this year, many players felt that there just wasn't enough to do, so Rare has been filling the seas with new content ever since. The latest update, Cursed Sails, just launched yesterday, and the next update, Forsaken Shores, will follow in September. So we've got the Forsaken update for Destiny 2 and Forsaken Shores for Sea of Thieves. I've been playing No Man's Sky. I'll be talking about that a little bit later today on EP Live, but as I've been playing No Man's Sky, I've thought to myself, listen, I need to jump back into Sea of Thieves and see how much that experience has grown. I was impressed with what I saw when it launched, but I did sort of plateau. I did sort of feel like, okay, I've seen this, I got it. And now I want to go back in and see if it does feel richer and more fulfilling. And I think one of the challenges is that it's set in the past, and there's a finite amount of technology and there's a finite amount of experience that we would really expect in a pirate game. At that, you know, as opposed to something like Destiny, which can stretch on to different galaxies and you can visit planets and they can have a whole different kind of technology tree. With pirates, you kind of know what you're going to get, a little, you know, magical, metaphysical with skeletons and things like that, and Davy Jones's locker, and then you're going to be doing a lot of plundering and you know, all of this sounds fun, by the way, but I feel like the Rare team may have painted themselves into a corner by being so specific with the pirate theme, because the technology that's on display in this game is astounding. It's a beautiful game, and it really does take your breath away when you first experience it. The question is how long will you go back and how long will you re-experience it? I do have a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of friends on Twitter that are partnered up and they play it all the time, so I am curious to jump back in. Now, Nintendo is raking in the dough with the Switch, but that's not their only big seller. Their free-to-play mobile game Fire Emblem Heroes has earned more than $400 million since it launched last year. That's according to the mobile analytics company Sensor Tower, which estimates that Heroes sees an average revenue of $20 million a month. If these numbers are correct, it easily makes Fire Emblem Heroes the most successful Nintendo mobile game, and means that their future mobile titles will likely use a similar payment method. Nintendo is rumored to be working on a Zelda mobile game, but it is yet to be officially announced. And I think there's a Mario Kart thing coming as well. Mobile's going to play an important part in Nintendo's future for sure, but I also feel like they are doubling down with the Switch. It's selling very well. I think that it is probably pulling a lot of mobile Nintendo fans away from their mobile experiences in some way, and as we're seeing with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, it feels like the Pokemon Go thing is being a little bit threatened by the Switch game. And now, obviously, the Switch is going to have to sell millions and millions and millions and millions of units to even come close to comparing with the install base of mobile phones out there. But I feel like they're going to start to use the mobile stuff even more so to push people to, you know, more robust experiences on the Switch. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this stuff plays out. But mobile is definitely a factor. If at nothing else, it's kind of like a cool commercial for what the core Nintendo experience is going to be. But I really feel that Nintendo is going to continue along this track of a console handheld hybrid system for a very long time. The challenging thing for the company in the face of success on mobile and success with Switch is, where does a handheld console fit in there anymore? You know, does a new 3DS or a new Game Boy or whatever, does it even make sense anymore? Is it going to be a Switch Junior? That is something that I'm very curious about. But Nintendo is doing okay. We don't need to be concerned about them right now. That's going to do it for our rundown today. Let's get cooking on this day and everything cool.